Hi there, today I'm going to show you how to make this bright and cheerful card using scrap designer series paper. This card uses the designer series paper called Fresh Prints and the banner Framelits, both from the new Occasions catalog. These are all the patterns that you get with that designer series paper stack, and again that's in the Occasions catalog. This is one side of the patterns, and then if you turn it over you can see all the different patterns that come in this pack. I've already die cut several patterns using the banner Framelits, and you can see all the different sizes that come with this Framelit set. I used the second and third smallest, so these two right here, to die cut the papers. And when you're running it through the Big Shot, you can actually die cut up to 3 sheets at a time. We're going to have a base of Whisper White cardstock, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I'm going to use a bone folder to slightly curl the bottoms of the banners just to give them a little dimension when they're layered onto the card. And I'm going to use regular adhesive. The busy ones I'm going to put on the end and the red one in the middle. And they just go directly to the top and the side and just press that down. I may go back and add a little more adhesive underneath, but I just want to get them set down first. So sometimes when you're working with white cardstock on the white grid paper, it's hard to see the edges and you don't quite get the papers lined up exactly right. So just take any scrap cardstock just so you don't have a white background, and then it's a little easier for you to get right up to the edges. And then I'm just centering this between the two. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then now we can add these two on top. And I'm just going to put a little tape right at the top. And what I'm doing is I'm holding this back a little bit just so I can kind of make sure that I'm centered with these two guys, and then I kind of scoot it up. And again, you don't have to be perfect, but you want that point to be kind of in the middle when you get this layered. Another way you can do this is to line up your cardstock on your grid paper. See how I have 2 squares in that space between the banners? Add some tape here on the top. And then this piece just happens to match up 1 square past. So that's another way to center. You can also eyeball it too. Remember, if it's close, it's good. So now we have these pretty little banners, and I might put just a little bit of extra tape under here, just so that's not too sticking up. We're going to use the piercing mat. Place your cardstock on top. This is from the Essentials piercing pack, and I'm going to actually turn it the other way. I'm going to have it right here. So I'm going to place the top of the plastic right to the top of my white cardstock. And I'm going to shoot for this second row of piercing right here, but I'm also checking to make sure the holes on the left and the right side are centered. You're going to press down firmly here to keep it from slipping, and then you just start poking with your pokey tool. You just go from one end all the way to the other. Now be sure and check as you're piercing, because sometimes when you're poking the piercing tool through these holes, it slightly shifts the template. So every once in a while you might need to make a slight adjustment. It'll keep you from getting too wonky. I'm going to use this phrase right here from Express Yourself. We're going to use baked brown sugar. My stamp is already on an acrylic block. Just tap on your ink pad and stamp on your Whisper White cardstock. We're going to die cut this phrase with the Bitty Banners Framelit, and you simply run that through your Big Shot on the right platform. I'm going to end up cutting the left side with my paper trimmer, just so it kind of mimics the shape of the banners on the card. We're going to add dimensionals to the back, and this is the edge of the dimensionals. You can slice these up and use the little outside pieces. I'm going to add this right across the line of piercing. We have real red stitched ribbon, and I'm going to add this in 2 pieces. I'm going to cut one piece and glue the ends to the back. I'm just going to run my adhesive along the edges on the back. I don't want to run the adhesive across the piercing because it'll flatten that out, so I'm just going to be careful to go along the side. So I'm just going to add this to the front. Tuck that around back. And then I'm going to add a little bit more tape across the ribbon just to make sure it doesn't come out. We're going to add this to the front of Coastal Cabana cardstock. And this is your standard card size, 8.5, 5.5, scored down the middle at 4 1/4. And then press that down. Now there's a little tape right there from the back, so I'm going to show you how to remove that. So just press that down on all the sides. This is our adhesive remover, and you can just lightly rub that to remove any adhesive that's showing from the underside, and that'll just clean that right up. So I'm just going to tie a soft knot here. So that's one way I could decorate the card. I have a bow that I've already tied, and I have one more idea. So our glue dots are on the outside, so I'm going to place one right about here. I think that's the right spot. And see if I can make a little loop. I do like this little ribbon, so I'm going to add it like that. Put another little glue dot on the back, and I'm going to place it right here so it kind of overlaps both of these little banners. I like this stamp set Feel Goods, and I love this expression here. We're going to layer this to an acrylic block. I'm going to stamp this in my baked brown sugar. It's my favorite neutral color. And press firmly. I'm going to add one of the banners for the inside of the card. Slightly curl, and then add some tape to the back. I'm going to lay this right to the inside. So there you go, quick and easy card using some of your scrap papers and some framelits. If you don't have the framelits to create these banners, you can simply use your paper trimmer to cut strips, and you can use the edge of a square punch to make the notches yourself. I hope you enjoyed this project. For more ideas, you can visit me at KeenanCreations.com. Thanks and have a great day.